Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're going to be having a look at Algo. Before we jump into the price action, I just want to say thank you for watching. If you're enjoying the content, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on the bell notification so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. In the description below you'll find links to Discord. Come check it out. It is free to join. Once in the general chat area, just add mention member staff. We'll be happy to help you out. Okay, so let's get into the fun stuff here. Effectively, I'm still looking at this move in potentially two ways. So ideally what we're looking for is actually a fourth wave correction here. And if I just come out here, basically the zone I'll be looking for this. So there's two ways that we can look at this. We can either just treat this as a 5-wave move to the downside, though there is a little bit of a discrepancy within the structure here. It is a little bit forced to count it as a 5-wave move. So there is a couple of possibilities. We could be looking to form a diagonal still potentially, and form something like this where we actually look to break to the downside. Alternatively, we could just form this as an ABC and then we just get a 5-wave move to the downside, and it will just have to do within this 5-wave structure that we have here. So because it came into the typical zone, it is also possible, we could argue that from further back here, we have this as an A, a B, and a C. The problem is it starts to get quite big in relation to the previous wave. So I don't really like counting it like that, but it is still a possibility. So we need to just bear in mind that there is still potential to break to the downside here. So we need to just be aware, really, until we actually break this 45 cent range, there is still potential to actually break down. So we need to just be a little bit cautious with that fact. So the way that I'm currently looking at it is in two ways. That either we can treat this as potentially a 5-wave move, which actually ends lower, further back here. And then what we'd be looking for is this as an ABC, as a flat correction. So this could technically complete this B wave higher up here. And then we could actually be looking for this C wave to the upside. So if this is the case, this would change our C wave target. And basically what we'd be looking for then is if I come up into there, down into this low point, 121 would actually be higher up here at this 37.58. So if we do start to progress up here in 5-wave structure, this would be a zone I'd be keeping an eye on as this 13.58. However, if we did move up higher past this 50 cent range, then we could start to argue that we could also have the potential to form a bigger 5-wave move here, where this becomes a 1, this becomes a 2, this becomes a 3. We'd look for a fourth and then a fifth to the upside. So, there is potential for bullish moves here. However, we need to see exactly how this plays out, because at the moment it is also possible that this ABC here is just the first part of a corrective pattern looking to actually bring us back down towards this fourth wave low here. Alternatively, with the other way we were looking at it was purely as a corrective structure. And we were looking at that basically as a WXY. We were looking at subdividing this as an ABC, X wave, ABC, and then actually that would be a WXY completed into this high point. So much with the other option. So if we are looking for a fourth, technically speaking, this could complete it. And what we could then be looking for is potential to break down. We don't have confirmation of this yet. What we'd be looking for effectively would be to start breaking down below this X wave position and then actually breaking below the point of the 786, which if we throw this onto this high, 786 is about this 18 cents. So once we start to break down below the 786, it becomes less likely we have bullish structure, and then we'd be looking for that potential to the downside. So we are looking still for some potential downside momentum to kick in here. So we need to be a little bit cautious with this. But we do have that possibility that we could still see another leg to the upside before we do so. If we do break down from here, it'll be important to see how this reacts. If we start to break down in 3-wave structure, then potentially we can start looking at the fact that this could be developing into an ending diagonal where we actually just grind down lower. The zone we're looking for 5th wave would be potentially this 13.52 to this 10.45. So, this is still on the cards until we actually develop some alternate structure, which suggests otherwise. So what we'd want to see for that bullish count, like I said, would be looking for this as basically as a wave 1, looking for a 2, whether this 2 is higher up here and shallow as a flat, and then we're going to get a bigger push up here for wave 3. But really, we'd have to break above this 45 cent range for confirmation, and then actually look to push up much higher here. Otherwise, we can just argue that, there is still potential that we could be forming something like a triangle here, where this is an A, B, we form a C wave, D, and an E, and then we look to break down still as a fifth wave. Or alternatively, you know, we can also argue that we could look at this as an A, B, we form a C wave to the upside, or a WX and a Y. You know, there's a lot of possibilities still within the structure. Okay, so let's go over the shorter term stuff. So basically within this, like I said, the B wave could complete here. Ideally, I'd like to see it move down a little bit lower, though it has come into this shallower retracement box we're looking for. It's come down towards this 23 cent area. I mean, it got down towards 23.29. So for the most part, we can argue that it is possible that this is completed and we could look for a C wave up. However, I am just giving it a bit of space, because what we could see, I'm going to just flip this over onto we could see something like this. And basically what this is looking at is just the fact that we have this move here as a flat. We could just have this as a connector wave, and then we actually form another Y wave to the downside, or even potentially a 5 wave move down here. So, you know, it depends how we react at this point. As to whether, if we did manage to continue to hold these lows here at this 22, 23, 29, you know, we can start talking about bullish potential here to the upside and looking for a 5 wave structure. However, should we fail to maintain this zone, you know, it's possible we could actually look to drop down one more time towards this 2207 at a 1-to-1. If I just throw this back on here, we can see that it would actually take us deeper down here. You know, this fourth wave location could be a potential target if we're looking for this as a flat. The 382 though is higher up here, so you know, it is possible that we can just actually move down to this 382, which actually lines up with this 2141 area, and then actually look to push up. So this would be a zone we could be looking for if we are looking at this potentially as a complex correction. If I just throw this into this high, sometimes these might push down a little bit towards that zone of the 50% as well. So that's just something we just need to bear in mind. You know, we could see this push down as a Y wave towards this 50%. Sometimes, like I said, it's between that 382 and that 50% they like to target, depending on what structure develops in the Y wave here. If it's a zigzag, then potentially we could look for that 20 cent 33. If it is another kind of correction, then potentially this 2152 would suffice. Okay, so that's looking for the potential to come down here. If we do move down into that location, basically what we'd be doing is looking for the possibility of just forming this as a B, and a C to the upside, like I said. Alternatively, if we get a zone down here, then we can start talking about potentially bullish moves, where we look at this as a potential for 1, 2, and then basically we'd still need to cross above this 45 cent range for confirmation. You know, until we actually break above that, this thing can continue to extend to the downside. Okay, so that's the sort of bearish option that I'm looking at now. You know, what we would be arguing on the if we come down here into the smaller time frames, is we'd then be arguing that potentially this would have been an A, B, and a C to the upside, and then we could be starting this move to the downside, where potentially this becomes a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we start to break down. At the moment, all we have is a 3-wave structure, so it's nothing too bearish. It could turn into a diagonal expanding one, where this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we get a 2, and then we break down. Or alternatively, this could just be a 3-wave move. 1, 2. If we did have to break down past, so the zones we'd be looking at for confirmation of an impulse would be this 2472, and then actually a lower break. This would be really what we want to see. We'd be assuming this is completed, but below breaking this 2352, that would be looking for that bearish potential to actually break down from here. Okay, so that's and at the moment all we have is a 3-wave move, so this could be just corrective, and then we actually push up again. So we're going to go over that potential to push up now. So the way I'd be looking at this move, let me just turn this other one off. There you go. So looking at this in isolation, what we could argue is that potentially we have this as a 1, 2. The problem is we don't really have a good structure here for a 5-wave move currently. I was looking at this as a 1, 2, potentially 3, 4, and a 5, which is still possible. Otherwise, we would have to look at it as a diagonal where this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Just want to see something. Just want to double check. Okay, so that's fine. So yeah, I mean, for the most part, we can argue that we have a diagonal here where this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to the upside. So this is a possibility. This would complete either an A wave or wave 1. In this instance, we're looking for that wave 1. So what we'd want to actually see is this wave 2 come down. So technically speaking, we've actually come down into this wave 2 position, and that could be it, and we could actually be looking to move up. So the thing is, the stochastic on the 1 hourly is quite overbought, so it is possible we do have another leg down here where this becomes an A, B, and a C. So if that's the case, what we'd be looking for is a deeper move into this yellow box. So we can see here this 25.74 to this 24.30. 1-to-1 would actually be looking to take us down towards this 24.12 zone, and that could actually bring us back down into these low ranges here. So this could also move up higher. Obviously, we can still move higher. If we take this high point, then we'd have to assume that either this is a completed B wave and we look for that 1-to-1 to the upside, or alternatively this is a wave 2 and we could look for that potential third wave move to the upside. Get off of the current structure we have here. What we'd have to be cautious of in the move back to the upside would basically be this 27-cent range to this range of this 27.81, which would be the higher range of this. We can still see this play out as an A, we come up for a B, and then we actually reject down for a C, and look to actually come back down into this range of this sort of 25-cent area. Towards the lower end would be this 24.30. Once we start to lose this 24.30, it becomes less likely that we have good structure here for looking for that potential of the impulse, and then I'd be looking actually for that continuation to the downside, and potentially looking to come down here and actually look to take this channel bottom again, and then look to move away potentially. Okay, so within that, effectively, like I said, we could be looking for this move to play out as a 5-wave structure here. The confirmation over a bigger 5-wave move would only come really by pushing up past this 35.40, and then effectively this would be the zone we would be looking for that 5th wave to play out if we did move up here. So we could see that there's two things that are important with this and this. It would take us into that 4th wave box, and it would also be that 1-to-1 of that point if we take this as a flat correction. So if we throw this back on, basically if we move this B wave into this position, this 1-to-1 would actually be here at this 37.70. So this is something we're just going to have to see as to how, if we do get this deeper retracement or not here. Okay, so that's the 5-wave move we're looking at. I think that is, oh yeah. So now, because we're also talking about the possibility that this could be just a completed move here and we could actually be looking to break down, we need to be on the lookout for 5-wave structures. So the 5-wave structure is that I'm looking out for is something like this. So we were talking about this previously, where we were looking for this potential as a 1 and a 2, and we've actually come back up into this zone. So for the most part, we've met that requirement of a wave 2 here. We've actually come up right into that 786, if I recall. Let me just double check. Yeah, so we've come right up into that 786. So if we do start to break down here more impulsively, what I'd be looking out for is the fact that we could actually look to push down towards this 1893. If we do move down towards this 1893 area, then I'd be on the lookout for an additional 4th and 5th to the downside, which could potentially look to push us down towards this 1821. So the thing is with this, if we did get a bigger 5-wave structure like this now, we could argue that it was a flat still from here as a deeper flat correction, but it then becomes more likely that actually this is going to be a wave 1 or an A wave. We're going to get a B wave to the upside, and then we're going to push down for that C wave again and actually look to take these lows and take out all sort of bullish potential that we've been looking at recently with this additional push to the upside. So yeah, I mean, if we do break back above this 29.95, that does eliminate this potential for a bigger 5-wave structure down here, where this becomes a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. If we do take this high point, then I would be looking at that potential to continue up towards that 1-to-1 area that we discussed in the ABC option. Though we'd need to monitor that move, because once it starts to play out, we'd need to check the subwave structure to see whether we have that ability to break above this 45 cent region. Okay, I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. In the description, you'll find a link to Discord. Come check it out. It is free to join. Once in the general chat area, just add mention a member of staff. Will be happy to help you out with anything you may need. Okay, everyone, I'm going to leave it there. Have a great day. We'll see you in the next one.